Good morning. Welcome to our Monday meditation. Today we have Brian Jeans of Team Sun Wellness, who will lead us in a mindful breathing section. My name is Steve Taylor. We're really excited to have you here. In just about 2 seconds, we're going to bring on our guest. And welcome, Brian. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you? How are you doing today? How are you? How is your family doing?
Oh, doing really well, Steve, and it's an absolute pleasure to share this forum with you this morning, and very excited to share with you and your audience some of the tools that we found to be so incredibly helpful in times of uncertainty like we're navigating now. So many thanks.
That is great. So you founded Team Sun Wellness with your wife, Anne. I think it's 2015, if I'm correct there. And but there was also another family member who is your part of your support network there, who's joining us. Because you introduced us to that family member.
That's right. This is Lucy, our meditation coach, and as
Nice.
you can see, she's providing us a very mindful model here, deep in meditation. So yeah,
that is fantastic. That is fantastic. So we're very excited to we started this about 4 weeks ago, the Monday meditation we've been doing for our Parks Alliance read along for longer than that. But our campaign director, the Philadelphia Parks Alliance campaign director, Lula, said, "Hey, I think we should do this." And I said, "That's a really great idea." And she and I have been working together to bring in fantastic people from the Philadelphia region. And I happen to know you ahead of time. You're an old coffee and biking buddy of mine. We have often gotten together on the weekend to have some coffee, go on a bike ride, and that's been really neat. We haven't done that together in a long time, obviously. But how have you, in addition to your yoga practice, and obviously we can see your yoga practice online, you obviously do, how else have you been keeping healthy and happy?
Well, Annie and I actually love to explore some of the parks and the just open spaces surrounding Philadelphia. So we've used these last several weeks as an opportunity to better familiarize ourselves with some of the parks, and I guess really have deepened our appreciation for these open spaces. And to circle it back to what the Parks Alliance does, I think the value of what you and Alex Lula are accomplishing has really come into sharp relief over these last few weeks, and knowing how valuable these resources are, particularly for those folks that are most at risk for just the deeper implications of a situation like we're in. So the value of these open spaces, parks, and recreation, I think could never be higher. And one of the many reasons I'm delighted to share some of our mindfulness tools with the Parks Alliance this morning.
Well, I want to learn a lot more about Team Sun Wellness. However, I want to learn that afterwards, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who are just ready, who really need to do this, and they can find out later on. But they want to hear hear what you have to share with them today. So I'm going to take myself off screen and let you introduce your mindful practice and have the screen to yourself. It's your stage, and I'll see you in 15 minutes or so.
Okay, great, Steve. Thank you very much, and welcome everyone. A very good morning to you. I'm Brian, as you know, with Team Sun Wellness, and my wife, partner in all things, and I, Annie, really take a great deal of pride in being able to share the tools around the breath that can help us to remain present. And I think that's what it really all boils down to, what our mission at Team Sun Wellness really is, to integrate the breath, our awareness of the breath, to return us to whatever we're doing, whatever's important here in the moment. So we'll go ahead and start by just a gentle, very gentle stretching of the body here. So why don't we just start with a few shoulder rolls. And an exercise, if you're familiar with more traditional yoga, we call this the cat-cow. So We'll go ahead and we'll inhale and we'll bring the chest out and gently arch the lower back. And now as we exhale, we'll round the back like a kitty cat, trying not to attract the attention of this beast beside me, but we'll round the back and drop the shoulders. And now we'll inhale again, expanding the upper part of the chest, and exhale, rounding the back. We'll do a few more here, in and out. And one more, inhaling, expanding, and exhaling, grounding, and releasing. We have a tendency to hold on to significant stress and tightness just through here and even in the muscles of the face. So in just a moment here, we'll do a more traditional mindfulness exercise to progressively relax the muscles of the body. But before we do that, why don't we go ahead and just bring that left arm out and up, and we'll give ourselves a pat on the back for starting the day on such a mindful note. And stretching out that shoulder joint. Being gentle, rocking the baby here. Good, and we'll just do the other side. Okay. So let's pay some attention to our posture. Very important for breathing and meditation. We'll take a quick peek down at our feet. They're about hip distance apart. That's our foundation. And we want to make sure we're just in a stable spot so we can bring our attention inward and to our breath. So nice and solidly positioned in our chair. And as you can see, I'm bringing my chest up and out a bit and trying to maintain an upright posture with the shoulders back and down and the back nice and straight. And my gaze and chin are level. So with our nice stable posture, we can go ahead and close the eyes, and we're just going to set, excuse me, a brief intention for our practice this morning. And by that, I mean finding a word that reflects a quality or a trait that we'd like to embody more deeply. And it can be for today or this coming week. So let's hold that one word, compassion, patience, balance, strength, whatever it may be. We'll hold that in our mind's eye for a moment. And now together, let's inhale through the nose, repeat our intention word, and exhale, gently release. Again, inhale, intention, and let it go. And one more together, inhaling nice and broad through the chest, and exhale, release. Very good. We'll keep the eyes closed, and we'll bring some attention to the muscles of the face. And we're going to progressively, as I alluded to earlier, progressively relax the muscles of the body to facilitate our breathing practice. So we imagine we're smoothing out the skin of the forehead in between the eyebrows. We'll bring our attention to the muscles surrounding the eyes, and we'll let the gaze gently sink inward. We'll move down the cheekbones to the mouth, and we'll relax the lower jaw. Let the tongue rest at the base of the mouth, and maybe let the mouth open a little bit. Just feeling perfectly slack and relaxed through the face. Nothing to hold on to or cling to here. And moving down to the throat, we'll relax those muscles, allowing the air to pass freely in and out, no pushing or pulling. And now relaxing the shoulders, the upper back, the middle back, the lower back. Moving to the front of the body, feeling the gentle rise and fall of the chest and the belly with each breath cycle. And now we relax the front and the back of the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, wrists, hands, each finger and each fingertip. perfectly relaxed, moving back to the lower body, feeling the hips planted firmly in the chair, and relaxing the front and the back of the upper legs, the knees, the lower legs, feeling our heels and the balls of each foot on the floor, and relaxing the inner, middle, and outer arches of each foot. And then feeling each of the toes on each foot. So just bringing gentle awareness to the entirety of the body, and now taking a few deep breaths and filling every last corner of the body and gently releasing and allowing the breath to take with it any tension or tightness we may be holding on to. Again, inhale and exhale, dropping the shoulders. And one more nice deep breath, filling every last part of the entire body and letting it all go. We can go ahead and gently open the eyes if we're comfortable doing so. And we're going to go ahead now and, excuse me, and we're going to go ahead now and bring some attention to our breath. And by that I mean, what qualities can we associate with each breath? The sound of the breath, the gentle movement of the body with each breath. So I found that just focusing on this area beneath the nose as the air enters and exits can be a nice place to focus. And we can go ahead and try the other method by placing one hand on the belly and the other on the chest as we inhale. Feeling the expansion of the body, and exhale the gentle retraction. And again, in and out. And if you'd like to close your eyes for these next few breaths, feel free to do so. We just want to bring that focus to ourselves here in the moment through the breath. And those specific qualities of the breath that can be a locus for our focus. And one more. Nice deep breath in, expanding the body, and now gently releasing the body. The breath, and we can bring the hands back down to the tops of the thighs. Okay, so with a little more awareness of our breath and perhaps a quieting of the mind, as we brought the attention to ourselves here in the moment, we're going to practice an exercise where we equalize the duration of our inhalation and exhalation. And there's a lot of great science behind how this helps us generate a calm focus, even in moments that can be distressing or anxiety-inducing to us in our everyday routines. So I'm sure we're all familiar with those situations that push our buttons. This is just a great exercise that you can have in your self-care toolkit for when those moments arise. So in your comfortable seated position, we'll close the eyes again. And I'll provide a gentle count for the breath. We'll start with an inhalation of 3 seconds, pause for 1 second, and then exhale for 3 seconds, pause for 1. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause, and exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause, and in, 1, 2, 3, pause, out, 1, 2, 3, pause, and one more in, 1, 2, 3, pause, and release, 1, 2, 3, pause. Okay. I hope that felt good for you, that breath awareness and that gentle balance. We call this the balancing breath. And what we can do in the remaining minute or two we have here is at our own pace, gently observe the breath entering and leaving our bodies and just noticing that process. And fundamental to any form of meditation that we practice with the breath is when our mind wanders, we just gently bring the focus back to the next breath. We don't judge ourselves. We don't get down that we can't focus and that meditation's so hard. We're just looking to bring something for the mind to focus on, not to erase everything happening in our minds, but to bring the mind to a specific point. And the breath is perfect for that. So if we're ready to do so, we can close our eyes and just take a few breaths at our own pace in trying to equalize the duration of the breath we invite in and gently release. And again, when the mind wanders, just noticing that and gently guiding it back to the present moment through the breath. And for these last few breaths, perhaps experimenting with lengthening that in breath and out breath, keeping them equal, but maybe exploring a new threshold. And allowing any remaining tension or tightness to gently leave the body right through the fingertips and toes as we release the breath. And at the base of the next breath, we can gently open the eyes and wiggle the fingers and the toes. And hopefully you found that there's a quality to that breath that's both calming and also centering, grounding, and helps us to focus. I really appreciate this breath in advance of a discussion I'm having, say, with my academic advisor or with a business partner, where I need to be fully present here, but in order to do so, I need to be relaxed here. And that's the beauty of meditation and particularly our breath awareness meditation. So calming in order to focus and make the best possible decisions that we need to make. So thank you for joining me in our breath awareness meditation. And Steve?
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. I mean, now I am someone who does a daily mindfulness practice, but I do it kind of scattered away. I mean, I did the Penn mindfulness program that you and I believe both you and Ann did that program, and I just did it as a student. I don't have yoga training. I'm not certified in any of these things, but it was an amazing part that allowed me to take my practice from being find some really great YouTube videos like this one, and to actually. How do you actually, so what I want to know for myself and for anyone in our audience is how do you take your practice from, you can just be a one-on-one advice here. How do I make my practice more better? I tend to not sit up when I'm meditating. So what are the benefits? Like I tend to be, if I'm doing a body scan, cool. That maybe I'm lying down, that's right. But I did do most of my meditations I'm doing on the couch. And that's okay. That's certainly not a bad thing. But what could I get from what more benefits for myself could I get from actually sitting up for more of my meditations?
Sure. You raise a very interesting question, Steve. So as part of our certification, Annie and I learned that yoga is comprised of many, many different facets of our experience. Mm-hmm. And in the history of yoga, the the actual movement that we associate with the commercials and the studios and so on in the tradition of yoga was developed to prepare people for what we just did, which was to remain in an upright position and facilitate a deep breath. And that's what all these fancy poses really were meant to do, to prepare the yogi or yogini for extended periods of breath awareness and deep meditation. So for anyone that's interested in breath awareness and has a yoga practice, we would suggest that they take a look at some of the formative texts, and you can find them easily online, that elucidate those 8 limbs. We call them the 8 limbs of yoga. And then what's nice is that they also reflect back upon our everyday approaches to our interactions and our professions and so on. So it's really a nice system for the individual that wants to lead like a purpose-driven and responsive and not reactive life. Responsive and not reactive. And starting with how we interact with others, moving through the movements to release tension, build strength and flexibility, and then to find that place to breathe and center the awareness to then work on that deeper exploration in the meditation. So it all fits together in a real beautiful kind of puzzle and a kind of a holistic puzzle. So that, I guess my long-winded answer to your question, Steve, would be to keep in mind that there are certain postures to strengthen the back in the core, right? And that will help you to remain comfortable in a position that facilitates a deep, healthy breath. So I would say core work, and then as we did at the start of our practice today, just releasing any tension that we may have in the shoulders and in the back with that very gentle cat-cow here, and a stretch through the shoulders. That's just a very practical look at it. And then the other piece, and this was something that was underlined in the Penn mindfulness program, is that we're not looking to erase our minds. We're looking to provide the mind one thing to focus on. And the breath is such a convenient object of our focus because there'll always be another one. There are 24,000 in one day. There'll always be another breath. And if we can find certain qualities associated with it, we can stay in the moment and not be torturing ourselves trying to turn off our minds, because that wasn't what we were meant to do, to turn them off. In breath meditation, it's just to find that one thing that's steady, reliable, that we can pay attention to, and in so doing, return to the moment, not be lost in the past, so worried about the future. So in a nutshell, sure, there's our yoga mindfulness philosophy, Steve.
Very cool. And I'm actually going to, after I ask Brian another question, I will copy and paste the link to the website in the comments. But you can certainly search for Team Sun Wellness. They, unlike we have, more than 100 followers. So we're actually looking to build our YouTube up. So how can people use your and other YouTube yoga videos when they really like? Maybe they like this one. Maybe they like another one from Team Sun Wellness. I've got a meditation playlist I also have a yoga playlist too, which I don't go to see very often, which with dozens of videos, and I have a few that I use. So how could people use these tools of all these available YouTube resources to be able to, build a meditation practice, build a yoga practice as well, of course?
Well, another great question, and that points back to our mission statement, as it were, and that's to provide people of all walks of life the tools to, move mindfully, move with awareness, and to breathe with awareness. So we're very focused on using these tools not to, escape to some ethereal realm, but to actually be more present in whatever it is we're doing. So the videos you'll see on our website, whether it's Annie's mindful movement yoga routines, and she has a great class tomorrow, just to plug her chair yoga class, and she has a hatha sequence on Saturday that I took, which is amazing. And the yoga practice can be thought of as a moving breath meditation, if that makes sense. So again, to answer your question, how to improve our self-awareness and to make better decisions in everyday life, it's to bring greater awareness to the breath, whether it be in exercises like we just went through. And in fact, at 10 a.m. Eastern this morning, I'll be conducting my more formal breathing session, and we'll take a deeper dive into some of these exercises. But ultimately, it's to just raise that awareness of ourselves in whatever we're doing, whenever we're doing it. And it can be waiting in the checkout line or in traffic and bringing some awareness to the breath to slow down the stress and to just be with ourselves. Or it can be in a movement class that Annie's teaching that is taking you through these awesome explorations of shapes and movements. But again, the breath awareness is the beating heart of all of it. So that would be my advice to someone that's relatively new or looking to advance their practice, is to stay focused on the breath, follow the breath, be with the breath, and that'll help to lower the stress and anxiety levels, the surface chatter and the noise, and help us just be with ourselves and to do what feels right, whether it be in interactions or in self-care, to do what feels right, but to always start with the breath.
Another question I have, which I won't actually ask now because we'll bring you back some other point, and we'll bring Ann back another point, and we'll go into this because we'll end up having. I can chat all day, but we both have work to do. So it was just about how to be more mindful in your daily practice, and that's something I think that people will definitely understand when they go to your website, which I just dropped the link into the YouTube and Facebook comments, and learn more about that. But let's I think this would be again, I would love to chat for hours and learn so much more about this here. But again, we both have other things to do during the day. So I'm going to ask you some more, less deep questions, but maybe they are as deep. Like, so how do you usually start off your Monday morning? What is your typical way to start off? Maybe we don't have weekends now, but how do you generally start off your general day or Monday?
Sure. Well, Annie has a very regular movement practice, yoga practice herself, and has a wonderful self-care routine that I'm so in awe of, like her consistency, and that's another principle I'd like to emphasize. Is just the consistency of whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be much, whether it be with a breath awareness exercise like we practiced, or with something a little more elaborate involving movement. But for myself, I like to get started. I find a lot of my meditation moments, Steve, happen when I'm moving, because I'm a very hyperkinetic person. We met each other on the bike. So, and it would be walking this little beast, as a means of, just getting out into the world and using that movement and maybe some of the unpredictable things that she'll get me wrapped up in as a means of, all right, well, just come back into yourself, slow down the mind a little bit, and start focusing on the day, from that ridgeline perspective. And I find that walking really helps with that. Annie and I do a lot of exploration in the city's parks, and again, are so grateful for the work of the Parks Commission for keeping these resources available to all of us. They're such treasures, and I think we're seeing that now, as we talked about before we went on, Steve, just how much we're understanding what a resource the parks, open spaces, and recreation are to all of us. So,
true.
Yeah, many thanks to you, Alex and Lula, for the work. Keep it up.
And yeah, thanks so much to Lula she's the one. I am the tech guy. I figure out how to do this stuff, but all of these ideas that we've done from our our Parks Alliance read along. This were all her ideas, and she is the one who is the driving force behind getting these amazing guests we have on our Parks Alliance read along, and we're sharing the guest getting for our meditation, and we're getting some really neat people like you. And I wanted to just share some comments from our audience, including from Lula. Hey, she has a couple other comments too, and I actually I have done your Sunday men's yoga class, which I find challenging to the level that I need. Someone who's in good physical shape, but is not not flexible, does not know how to do yoga as well. I mean, I feel very comfortable doing Pilates on my own, but yoga, no. I need someone to guide me, and that's been really great. My mom has done your chair yoga, and she really found it fantastic. And I have not done those yet. I've seen those. I want to check those out. I know both you and Ann have both done chair yoga, so I want to check those out. And you can also see how to find them here. And also, here's one of your friends or your followers here who is joining us. So Juliet, thank you very much. And so glad that you're finding these YouTube classes a great resource. And this was it was to a specific thing you had shared, but I'm sure that it would apply to many of the things that you had shared here too, that Lula had said. So thank you very much. And yeah, I'm going to let you get on to your day here. And any closing thoughts or tips for how to have a mindful Monday?
Well, I would just say to, stay focused on the breath. There's always another one, and there probably is no more precious self-care tool we have in the toolkit to just bring us back to the moment, keep the stress train in the station, and then free up these resources in our big brains to make good decisions, be nice to people, be nice to our doggies, right? So that's really what it boils down to is, just being with ourselves through the breath, and, always welcome any questions or anything we can offer by reaching out to us through our website. Check out our vids on our YouTube channel. And Steve, again, thank you so much for your awesome skills in teeing this up. And again, what Lula and Alex are doing is, we really, really treasure the parks and what you're doing to help those that really need the help here in the city. So good stuff.
Thank you. Have a wonderful Monday.
All right. Take care. Be well. We'll talk to you soon.